I think that the Archives Department is doing exceptional work. I am, extremely impressed with the scope of what is being done here, the expertise of the staff as well. And I think that the department, in terms of the purpose of the tour, is really allowing me to see that it is moving to be fit for purpose as we try to ensure that we are able to really expand on a digital economy. Yeah? And I think that the Archives Department is going to be doing some exceptional things going forward. And that is going to make sure that Barbados as a whole is really able to capitalize on all of that history that we have that is so rich. I mean, to think that we have records, I think the first records from 1635 and going forward, and that we're able to map our political and social history in that way, and that Barbadians can have access. And not only Barbadians, because I've been told as well that we have interests from other countries like Africa who want to be able to access our records because they've lost theirs. And I think that that is something that we, that we have, that we are now going to be able to sell to the world.
Give us an idea of some of the records that you view today. Anybody can answer.
Okay, so I can hand over to Ms. Thompson.
Yes, some of the records that was viewed today was a copy of the Emancipation Act, 1834. Also the birth record of a lady by the name of Velma Scantlebury. She is the first black person to do an organ transplant surgery in the United States of America. We also had the Barbados Annual Review. That was a magazine, a publication that was done during the World War II period. And then we also had, in terms of a deed record, when Samuel Newton actually bought the Newton Plantation in 1662. So those were examples. And also we had an example of inventory of personal effects. So those were the records that we had this morning.
Can you speak to some of the transitional aspects of the department over the years to what you are now?
Yes, well, when I first started working here, a lot of the things, we had to do everything manually. We have, over the years, we would have moved to microfilm. We're now going to go digital in terms of, you would have seen examples of some of the documents that were digitized. So we want to move into a digital age because the record is not only paper. Everybody's speaking about electronic records and digital records and so on. So we want to move to the 21st century. So you're going to be hearing a lot of things from us in the coming months. And I'm very optimistic, and I'm sure that Minister Munro-Knight is going to give whatever assistance along with my PS and Wiltshire in terms of moving the archives from a manual system into the digital age and into the 21st century. And also too in terms of making the archives relevant to the Barbadian community. This is our history. We are a republic now, this is our history, and it's our task to make sure that we preserve these documents for generations to come.
And to Minister, for your final wrap-up thoughts in terms of what the Chief just said.
No, but actually, I think the Chief, she just said it perfectly as well, so not necessarily need to add to that. Okay. But I also wanted to ask PS Wiltshire to speak a little bit about another project of which the Archives Department is going to be a fundamental part, which is a project called Road, Reclaiming Our Atlantic Destiny. And it is something that I believe that I'm hoping that we could take the Barbadian public on that journey, because it's going to be very, very critical as we build out our cultural heritage.
And as Betty said, this project, Road Project, Reclaiming Our Atlantic Destiny, is actually a project that is based on the digitization of the archival documents. The Prime Minister spoke about it at a press conference on December the 3rd last year. It entails the establishment of a memorial at the Newton Plantation in Christchurch. Actually, it's going to be the establishment of a heritage district, which comprises that memorial to the enslaved persons who are buried there. It's also going to comprise a research institute, which will also have a component, a genealogical section. And essentially, this heritage district is intended to present narratives of enslavement, freedom, emancipation, because as the chief archivist said, Barbados has a lot of stories to tell. We have the second largest repository of transatlantic records in the world after England. So these records are essentially going to be used for the establishment of that heritage district, which is also going to comprise a museum which will have in all of these records.